I was told a girl that I cried at the end of Finding Dory.
At the sequel? Let's get fresh and fit out of the way. Let's smoking on that fresh and fit pack while the camera
is rolling.
Oh, we got the no. I was just gonna say, like, the camera sometimes takes a second to get the lighting down, and then we're on the back deck. We're not in a motel in Pittsburgh anymore. Yeah, dude. It's classic. Classic, dude. So we were on the road to Pittsburgh, and the road back, and we recorded a bunch of stuff. Turns out the dash cam, which is supposedly used for safety and legal cases when driving, only records in a minute 30 increments.
In my mother's words, it only records when it thinks something's happened, and that's when it will record.
You know what that means? It's that for the entire time we were recording, the camera's like, these guys are bad, fucking boring.
They just,
fuck these guys.
It was just not interested.
Yeah.
Whenever one of us, like, you know, our voices raised or something during the recording, it would record that.
So we probably got mad cackles.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
We could do a cackle supercut for the trip.
I still gotta go through it. I got some
That's
of it.
not actually a bad idea.
I see. I gotta go through it and see what we got. We might have like little bits and pieces of something. All of that to say, we thought we had 6 hours of content and we actually have nothing. So.
Such a deflating feeling not having 6 hours of content after you think you have 6 hours of content.
Very frustrating.
Fuck, dude.
Very frustrating.
We're here to make up for lost time, lost recordings, lost content, if you will. We're here to talk about smoking that fresh and fit pack, brother.
Fresh and fit, you know.
If I smoked weed, dude, I'd light one up right now. I'd light a doobie. I'd light up a J. And in Sharpie, which would probably be bad with the fumes, it would say fresh and fit or F&F on it. And I'd say smoking on that fresh and fit Pizzak. Because we are smoking on that. I don't think we're going to be really celebrating, right? We're going to be doing that. It is kind of like, you know what it is? I have skin in the game because I'm Jewish. Hold on.
What? All right, go ahead.
Because they have aren't they in the arc where they have Holocaust deniers on the show now? And white supremacists? Yeah.
I don't watch their shows.
I know from like the stuff that people cover on them. Like I watch Destiny a lot, and they have that guy Nick Fuentes on. I think he believes that the Holocaust didn't happen. For me, it's like kind of like, all right, well, you know what? Pack you up, get you out of here. But you know, at the same time, I think with this channel, I think we do a good job of doing this. We should be objective. We are objective. So I'm not trying to be actually smoking on that fresh and fit pack. I think it's just we got to talk objectively about the situation. I think it's kind of one of those things, and Abba and Preach, I knew they were going to make multiple videos, but in the multiple videos that they made about this, summed it up pretty well. And that it's. You reap what you sow.
Reap what you sow.
You know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yes.
Stupid.
Yeah. You're really going in on that. But yes,
I can do worse. Obviously, you know what it is? I'm saving up all the ammunition for the Fousey bit. We're gonna really get into Fousey, man.
Bro, we're careful, bro. We don't want to be a Fousey channel now. You know what I mean? We don't want to get too into Fousey. So fresh and fit. Off the rip, I agree with what Coop just said, and Abba and Preach, and Playback. Actually, they kind of did it to themselves. They dug their own grave, if you want to get into it. You know, they were very quick to, you know, try to create problems with other people and say that they were, you know, quote unquote better than other creators on the channel, and tried to abuse the YouTube partner program. And now, as a result, they are no longer on the YouTube partner program. They just felt that they could take a lot of liberties because they felt that they had made it. They were so powerful that they couldn't be touched, and they found out the hard way.
Well, I made this point in the car. It's that if you make content that's kind of more so focused around drama, negativity, controversy, getting into beefs with everyone, this is kind of one of the one of the risks of taking that type of venture, especially when you get into the more. I mean, they've had, from what I've seen from them, and of course this probably isn't all of their content, because I think Preach said this in the most recent video they did on the, like, there's nuggets of positivity and good in their channel. Even if you're guys like us that don't necessarily agree with them and don't like what they put out, you can't negate the fact that they have helped young men get more of a sense of confidence, and going to the gym, telling someone to go to the gym is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's certain things in there, nuggets of good that we can't ignore, but also what has made them, and this is kind of the point I made, what has gotten them to the point where they are now is now the same thing that's starting to
kind of did destroy what they built.
Destroy what they, because, and it's not even the fact, I don't think anyone would say that their beefs are what got them kicked off YouTube, but it's the beefs which then lead into the partisan content that they make, right? Because in beefs, you have to take a side. So who are they against? It's against the blue pill guys. Who are the red pill guys? Nick Fuentes. All these guys, these conspiracy theorists, Sneeko, that have long-term issues with getting off of YouTube. So in a roundabout pipeline way, dude, again, you reap what you sow, but it is kind of the fact, and it's something interesting you can look at, is that, that this type of career that you have, which is funnily enough also pushed by YouTube a lot now, of sensationalism, of getting into beefs, of getting into drama, doesn't always have the best shelf life, as even guys that cover the drama.
So it's interesting that you say that it's pushed by YouTube, and then we've heard Abin Preach say that it's they don't want like that type of drama or negativity on like the front page, and that's why they got packed up. So what would you say to that, based on what you just said?
Well, when it gets to a certain point, when you're having white supremacists on the show and Holocaust deniers, YouTube's going to take the same thing that Abin Preach said, where it's like, if you start to do that, at the end of the day, YouTube employs you. They don't want that bad look on their website. I mean, think about it. They're one of the top 3 revenue earning channels from super chats and chats in general. So what does that look like if you're YouTube? When one of the guys that are arguably making the most money off of your live streaming service are bringing on these historically just not, I don't want to say not insane, but people that are so far off and so radicalized with their ideas. It's one thing to have out-of-the-box thinking, but to be as radicalized, I think that's the part that YouTube doesn't want. It'd be one thing if Nick Fuentes was just talking about his beliefs and saying, he could go off in his own little sector, say black people are less, Jewish people are less, all this different type of stuff. Of course, everyone's at liberty to either agree or not agree with him. Josh and I tend not to agree with him, but it's the one thing.
Don't agree with him.
Right. But it's and this is the biggest thing I want to stress with this video. It's the beefs that bring it to the forefront. So Nick Fuentes, in beefing with Destiny, in beefing with, I guess, like, we'd probably beef with him if we ever,
Is it a beef or is it just a disagreement? Well, how do you view it?
Beef, disagreement, whatever it is, because I know there's personal insults being thrown. That's why nobody can have an objective debate anymore. But even disagreements, it brings their ideologies to life. And when you cozy up with a guy like Nick Fuentes, things like this can happen, man, especially when you're co-signing what he said, especially when you go off we talked about this in the car, especially when you go off platform and you're dressing up in a Klan costume, calling them monkeys. Like, that's not cool.
And then I said in the car, I said, I don't know why. Like, why would you do stuff like that in an age where, like, the digital footprint is so big and people can just pull stuff up and be like, this is you. Why would you do that and think that YouTube would never find that and you'd be safe?
What do you think? I think it's lack of forward-thinking, critical thinking, like thinking towards the future. Because
can we even say that? Like, the guy, Myron used to be an FBI agent.
So he probably knows better than anyone about it.
He should know better than everybody. You know what I mean? And
then maybe it's an ego thing.
They do.
That's you made the good point at the beginning of the video. Yeah,
as they pointed out, the ego has played a very big part here. They said it themselves. They were like, man, we're gonna do this, we're better than you, and all these different things, we're gonna lap you, and all these things, and they got caught up in ego. As a matter of fact, their entire show was kind of based on ego and telling people to shut up.
If you think about it, dude, their entire platform is ego-based. Right? It's all things that appeal to the ego, which is getting in shape, having cars, having money, having women around you constantly, having to constantly prove to yourself that you are this person that you've set out to be, right? That's one of my biggest issues with the red pill, is that a lot of their ideologies are based off of the fact that you constantly, the self-improvement they preach is self-improvement that requires constant reassurance. And in that's not, I don't think that's confidence. I think that kind of goes back into an ego in a sense. So you're 100% correct. And then the ego with kicking women off the show is saying, we know better than you. We're going to have these women on the show so we can get slam dunks. We can call these people dumb bitches and get them packed up out of there. That's all ego. And so, as in life, when you lead with your ego, and I truly do believe this, and I'm only 23 years of age, so I could very well be proven wrong later in life, but I tend to believe that when you lead with your ego, any venture you go into is short. It has a short lifespan.
I don't feel like it's bad to have ego in the sense of you keep it contained. You know, like I would never walk up to you and be like, man, I'm better than you at this, right? But I understand that there's things that you do better than me, and there's things that I might do better than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And would you even consider that ego? That's just, you know.
Well, ego, I think, would be focusing on it, unless you're,
Okay,
if not in a strictly analytical sense. So, like, for instance, you're better than me at creatively editing. When I say creatively, I mean like adding a lot of personality to a video. Where I think I'm better than you is in the finite details of creating a professional looking video to where people don't even necessarily notice the editing. I can get a little bit creative, but these are all things, right, that we have to factor in. Looking at where our channel is logically, I think that's not an ego thing. I think that's saying, all right, Josh, well, for shorts, you might be more well equipped to handle those because people look for more personality in shorts, whereas for the longer form videos, I might be better to just slap something together where people aren't necessarily tuning in for the production quality. They're tuning in to hear what we have to say. That's not to say I don't have good production quality, but if you're looking for something where it looks competent and people have a satisfactory listening and viewing experience. So that's what I'm saying. But if I were to say, like, you know, I'm better than you, Josh, because I can make a more professional looking video than you, that's where the ego comes in. I've known people that were better than me. I've known people that in my program that could edit better than me. Where I like to view it from is like, all right, well, they're better than me now, but they're not going to work harder than me. I'm going to just lap them at some point.
It's very fair.
And I just focus on myself. And maybe that's an ego thing, but yeah.
I will say I would never wish bad upon somebody else's channel unless they, you know, really deserved it. It's just in this case, they happen to deserve it. They went out of their way to kind of bury their own channel. So
the Holocaust is real. Let's just say it like that.
All right, man.
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
but I feel like, you know, I feel like it was real for sure.
You feel like it was there 100%?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Listen, I would never knock you.
I could be wrong.
I would never knock you. All right.
But I'm pretty sure when like millions of people died, that's, you know, something. They're like, their main thing is like, well, we don't know. Like the bookkeeping was inaccurate. It's like when you do millions of anything, like how accurate is a bookkeeping gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just yeah. So, anyways, do we want to? What else? Do we have anything else
for this topic? No.
Fresh and Fit going over to Rumble, I think. Rumbling it up.
Listen, man, I wish them well. Hope they rumble it up over there.
All right, guys.
Everybody calm down.
See you in the next one.
Yes, sir.